Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our flight in learning just a little bit more about this ancient language, and it's my honor to be here to be our pilot. Yesterday we talked about 四个婚礼和一个葬礼. You can see it's 9 characters total, and it's like divided in 2 groups, and we have this connector word. That's our peace sign. And this 和 eventually becomes and connector word. So we have a translation of a movie from English to Chinese. And I show you this is the way Chinese behave in a contemporary translation. So today we continue with 婚姻大事. It describes the big event of getting married. Okay, so we have both marry and married here. I use this to use, this is active, this is passive, right? So I use this to mean from 婚 is from the male perspective. That's you are going to get your girl from her household to your household at sunset time. So that's 婚, it's from the groom's perspective. And this is from the bride's perspective of getting married. Like woman getting married is because, so this symbol in is the because character is because somebody marry you, that you become a full woman, I guess. So this in, why it is because, it's quite some twisted logic over there. Okay, bear with me. So you see the middle here is kind of like a human figure with a horizontal line, right? It looks just like that. This is a blown up view of that. And this character means big. So Chinese character big, originally I thought, okay, so this means you have 4 limbs. So your arms, this is the horizontal, right? Your arms spread out and your legs spread out. So it's kind of starfish figure. And that's the biggest wingspan of a person, like how big you can get spatially, right? When you reach out, all your limbs far out. That's my first thought, first understanding. And then I gained a new understanding one day when I pair it with the character small, because then I realized big and small are actually always bigger or smaller. It's in relative to a baseline. You don't really have something that's just big. It's always compared with something else that is considered big. Actually, it's considered bigger. But in human as the measure of things, in our eyes, because language is human created, right? We always live within our own context. So within our living experience, if something is bigger than humans' concept of the benchmark, the normal size, and then it's considered big. And so this relativity concept, when I see the character big and small next to each other, all of a sudden I got this revelation of, okay, so this character big actually came from, this is not exactly a human figure. It is 2 pieces of something. It could be human, it could be something else, right? 2 parts of something. Now they combine together. This horizontal line is a binder. It's like a clip to bind them into 1 unit. So before they are 2 pieces. And now after this binder, horizontal binder, it becomes 1 piece. So that means something is double sized. So this big concept is in comparison to its original size, like individual pieces, it's this size. Now, when they bind together with this horizontal line, it's double sized together than each individual piece. So it's like 2x of something, right? Versus small is this vertical line. It's separating these 2 pieces. So this separation gives you the sense of, okay, originally it was this. Now it's separated with this vertical line in the middle into 2 pieces. So it's a half the size of some original piece. So that's like in comparison to its original form, this is half, that is small. So that's my understanding of language creators if they create both big and small with the concept of relativity, and they create the two characters together. One is with horizontal line, one is with vertical line of cutting. This is combining, this is cutting. Then that's how the two characters make meaning for the remaining ages of Chinese language culture there, right? So here is the big. And still, this concept of a human figure with this arm spread out could be one of the origins of the concept of big, because, okay, sometimes same character that looks like written in the same form actually have different origins, and they happen to visually represent it very close. And later on, people get confused, right? They may combine them or add something to it to distinguish it. But there are occasions, because we only have 2D space here, and we only have so many ways you can draw out things, right? So occasionally things do get overlapped. So different meanings come from depicting different things actually mean together. One example is this character, or actually with two horizontal lines. So two horizontal lines with that could mean eyeball. But two horizontal lines with this box can also mean a container of food. So it came from different origins, but over the years, characters got simplified and got furthermore streamlined. So more complicated way of writing was phased out. So now more abstract and simplified, streamlined writing stay on. And when they transform over time, happen to like one character looks just like the other character, and later on we got confused. So this could be one of the case, at least according to some scholars, why this character means reason is because this originally depicting a person sitting on the mattress on a carriage. I don't exactly know how people come up with such a story, but do you see a carriage there? I don't. But this space, this circle, oval shaped thing, was visualized as that's kind of a seating, or a cushion put on a carriage, and this is some person sitting on top of it. I don't know. That's a mystery. But that's according to some scholar. And then from this sitting and cushioning on a carriage, like a vehicle, right? Back then, probably a vehicle back then was not so comfortable to sit on. So having a cushion is important. And that person sitting on a cushion then eventually become the sitting on a cushion become like you depend on something. You have to sit on that cushion. And then this depend on becomes like, okay, B is depending on A, therefore A is the cause of B. And then becomes the causation, the very abstract concept of causation. So in any case, here I can put almost like a footnote there, like whoever discover the coming into being of this character, why it becomes a reason, because or causation of something, because it's such an abstract concept, like how the language abstract from this human sitting on a cushion all the way to become the causation, the reasoning of being, is quite some logic jump there. And also this person sitting on a cushion is really questionable to me. I don't see it that way. I see a person inside a space, right? And if this is a character big, it could be not even a person. It's something big within that space, right? And if I want to do storytelling or imagining of why this big within this frame of space, that becomes the reason. I can explain it in a way of, okay, this frame is kind of max out the space on that Chinese character space, right? So Chinese character normally just space like that. So it's almost like a rectangular. It's not not a square, not AB the same size, but normally it's a little bit taller. Just visually, it's more pleasant, right? You can pack more information narrowly, horizontally, but taller vertically. And this shape of rectangular almost like max out the frame of the Chinese character, right? So that's kind of give you a spatial sense. It's like everything included over here, right? And then this character big, it's something, double-sized. That's the origin according to my theory. So something in that big, like max out your world, basically here. This is your full frame. And then something big, basically is bigger than your individual understanding or bigger than your individual motive. So it's like the whole mechanism of how things work in that full frame human space. So that could be my interpretation of how this frame plus this big symbol, big framed, right? Big framed could be the explanation of why it's a reason. In any case, okay, in today's context, it means woman with the reason, it becomes the woman. The reason why is a man asks for her hand to invite her to his household. Therefore, she is married. Therefore, she becomes a woman, like a full woman, has the function of reproductive function, right? And that's hun and yin. So basically, it's from the groom perspective, from the bride perspective. And it's interesting because I think here in the West and the East, the practice of getting married converge, because getting married has to be the man ask the woman to marry him. It's one directional, it's not bi-directional. I mean, in normal cases, right? In regular cases, it's always the man initiate, ask for the woman to marry, and the woman is the one be married, get married. So woman is the passive side, man is the active side. Somehow it's universal. Okay, I explained a bit, right? I still like my theory. It's more philosophical than just a visual representation of a starfish human figure. Okay. Event, we came across this a few times. It came from this fancy headgear symbolized government official. So this is the head of the government official, and this is a full torso of the government official. And eventually this whole thing means government related to bureaucracy, government. So it's kind of official, right? And then we have this 3-finger hand symbol. So just looking like that. So this part is the hand symbol. So it's like government handling something. So it's something major, something official handling of things. You can imagine the bureaucracy of today, or you can imagine, the government proceedings of something in the past. So if it's a civil case, it could be like in a courtroom, or the emperor has some new order of some new practice and people have to follow. And this government proceeding is like communicating the order from top above down to the society. So in any case, it shows the formal nature of this event. Okay, so 婚姻大事 basically is a Chinese way to say marriage, the whole affairs of marriage. And I want to show you 2 pieces. Here is one book from, I guess, social study about 婚姻大事. I just want to show you the words in real action. And it's talked about, okay, this character I have to check out. It's 念 means 20, so 21st century, Hong Kong, 香港人, human, right? So Hong Kong people's 婚姻, talking about marry and getting married, and 观 means concept, or your mentality or mindset. So here, 大事 was framed kind of emphasized, quoted in there to show, by the way, this is a Chinese quotation mark in the stylized way. Of course, the Chinese also have contemporary punctuation, just like quotation mark in the West, but in a more traditional, maybe 100 years ago, this is the quotation mark. Interesting, right? Okay, so this is a book talking about that, and this is a chart of some scholar summarizing the trend of getting married. So this is 1 Dui. So the unit of measurement is 10K. Here's an interesting thing. Chinese always when we talk about big numbers, so 1 is the basis of understanding. So in English, we have 10,000, million, right? We have this 3 zeros, 6 zeros, and 9 zeros. We have the 333 structure to formulate, okay, the bigger size of numbers is always like in the thousands, and then 1,000 times 1,000, like that. But in Chinese concept, we always have 4 zeros, and then 4 zeros, 4 zeros. That's zhao. This is 1. So in this case, we're talking about in 10,000 cases. And you can see, okay, let's see, 2019 is the last number it shows. So it's about below 1,000 times 10,000, which is 10 million, right? So in 2019, it's below 10 million pairs of couples getting married. And the title of this research is, okay, the marriage registration. So if they get registered with the government, the registration peaked out in 2013, which is close to almost 14,000, right? 14,000 is the peak. Now it's below 10,000. And I guess 2022 with COVID, with zero COVID, is even worse, right? So here is a trend line to show fewer and fewer people getting married. So this 婚姻大事, this practice of getting married is trending down in China. And this coupled with the low birth rate and with the Chinese demographic shift of like 2022 or 2023, officially China was surpassed by India as the biggest population in the planet country, right? So China is no longer the biggest populous country in the world, because there you see the marriage rate dropping down. Okay, currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you now.